What's up, everybody? Welcome to Hog's Barbecue channel. Today, as you saw from yesterday's video, we have acquired a click this fan off here, a Weber Smoky Mountain. I told you I'd cook on it. Well, today's the day. My favorite barbecue combination as well: ribs and chicken. So I'm going to take you from start to finish. We'll pretend like you've never even done it before, like you've never seen a video on it. You don't have to trim these. These are baby back ribs. Normally I tell you to buy St. Louis, but for some reason, or well, people figured out that spare ribs are better than baby back, and they've just been buying, I guess, I don't know, spare ribs are more expensive now than baby backs are. So I'm just going to get off. See this? This is like kind of fatty material that's no good in my opinion. So I'm gonna just take it off because there's enough fat striated out through this meat. I don't know if that's a real word. Let's just go with it. To well, we don't need all this stuff that you don't want your people eating or yourself to be you know, munching on a piece of fat for an hour. So let's just see if we can get it off there. And I ain't the best knife man, but this stuff is kind of weird. We've already got the Smoky Mountain heating up. I haven't figured out the best way to do that yet, so I'm not gonna tell you how to heat yours up. I will make a fire management guide on it once I get it dialed in. That way I can give you guys the correct information. Now any little bits and pieces that are hanging off of here are just going to get burnt up, so there's no point in keeping them because they're just going to hang off and get all burnt up. The dogs will love that. Now here's a shortcut that I wouldn't ordinarily recommend, but because we only have an 18.5-inch cooking surface and these ribs are going to measure probably like 24 inches or something like that, and because we're cooking chicken as well, we're going to cut them in half. Why are we going to do that? It will make them cook faster and it'll make them fit. What do we got to do first? A lot of guys, you'll see them skip this. I don't know what's right or what's wrong. What I know is, man, do I like the feeling of peeling this membrane off. Paper towel. See this? Got yourself a little flap right there already. Sometimes you might have to stick a butter knife in there to get it moving. Grab it with a paper towel. Pull, pull, pull. Try to get it all in one pull. It don't matter, but you know, we're men. We like to. That's perfect. Nothing more satisfying than getting it pulled out in one shot. I need somewhere to put these at. Give me a little plate or something here. So now, for the cutting in half section, just find yourself a spot in the middle here. And I want to do this right. Now I did wipe all the, you know, all the slime off of these pretty good, but they still got a little bit, so you don't want too much slime. So this part's meatier, so I'm gonna cut it a little bit more this way. That way, hopefully they cook evenly. So let's just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we'll do the 7th one. We'll just cut them right down the middle here. Look at that. One for dinner, one for supper. Now let's get some seasoning on the back here first. You know me. I'm going with the Bad Byron's butt rub for pork. If you don't have it, it's salt, pepper, granulated onion, granulated, garlic, paprika, chipotle powder, and that's pretty much it. Nothing special. Try and give it an even coat. Nice and even. Here's your first cheat code of the day. You can kind of push it in a little bit, and that'll, instead of sitting and waiting for it to dissolve into the meat, you can just push it in, that way it don't fall off. Alright, now flip. Still not too big of a fan of this, but you know, we'll try and cook it off if we can. You know, if not, it ain't gonna hurt nothing. Same deal. Now, I learned this from Franklin, but if your meat has any kind of direction to it, try and season in that direction. This one looks like it kind of goes left to right, so we'll go left to right just to make it look good. It ain't nothing, you don't have to, I'm just saying. Agent, this shit's caked all to hell. That's alright though. Notice, there ain't no fucking sugar in here. Contains no sugar. We're making barbecue. You want sugar, eat a fucking cake. Now granted, somebody might put some sauce on here that's got sugar in it, and a little sugar in the sauce, a little sweetness on the sauce, okay, I ain't gonna be mad at that. But that ain't how I'm gonna cook it. That just ain't how I do it. I try not to put a ton of sugar on my food. Now, depending on where you get your chicken, if you buy it in the hood like me, it's likely that they don't bother to get all the feathers off of it, so I just like to check that first. And then what I do is I get one hand that's going to be my chicken hand, and the other hand can be my seasoning hand. And a bowl usually works just fine for chicken. These are all thighs. Thighs is the only type of chicken that I recommend smoking. Everything else is too lean. Not enough fat in it. A little bit of olive oil. No particular amount, but it's just to don't touch it with your chicken hand. Just to help give that seasoning a little something to stick to. Put a little bit of extra, you know, oiliness to the chicken. Nothing crazy. This is where I lied to you. Grill Master barbecue rub. This probably does have, yeah, brown sugar in it, but yeah, it'll be okay. We're gonna run it. Not my preferred, but it does taste good, so dump it in there. Mix it around. Dump some more. Don't. Alright, so I'm gonna clean up my workstation now. We got everything seasoned and ready to go. The grill should be getting nice and hot, so we'll transition and get this stuff on the smoker. Right now it's 2:15. Hopefully it'll be done by 5 or 6. We'll see. Alright, so this is at 175. Not ideal, but this is full. It just hasn't really got its fire all the way across yet. So I'll show you what we're going to do about that in just a second. Maybe I should have opened up the vents a little bit more. Like I said, still working on the fire part. So I'm not going to tell y'all, you know, hey, do this or hey, do that, because I don't know yet. All I did yesterday was just run it, you know, as hot as I could run it. Normally I wouldn't cook on the middle rack either, but what I'm going to do here is put the ribs on that middle rack. That way, because I'm not too worried about the ribs getting overcooked. What I'm worried about is the chicken is possibly going to cook a lot faster. So, you know, I want to be able to grab that chicken off quickly if need be. So we'll throw the ribs down there. They're good to go now. We'll grab our top rack. Hopefully it don't burn me. Some ribs. And then chicken. I know. I think it's worse to touch chicken and then touch ribs than it is to touch ribs and then touch chicken. But the reality is it's all going to be cooked to temperature anyway. And the ribs are going all the way up towards 200. So, you know, if salmonella somehow got on them, then, you know, we'd be all right. So, try to tuck that skin up under there. And this is why I don't like sugar in my spices, because I mean, look, it just cakes up and gets all fucking, it don't even really look good. There's some of those feathers I was telling you about. They ain't hurting nothing, it's just they don't look very good. So let's tuck that boy in right there. Probably could have fit everything on the top rack, but ain't too worried about it. I think the chicken juice is going to be dripping down on the ribs, but like I said, it's all getting cooked up to temperature anyway, so it shouldn't hurt anything. I'll let you know if I get sick or something. Tuck that up under there. Place him there. Make sure everybody looks nice and neat. Relatively so. Alright, so we can get our fire cooking. What we're going to do is open up all the vents. Junkies are arguing. I don't care. I'm making barbecue. All the vents are open all the way. I can see that starting to go again. We'll throw a chunk of some cherry wood on there. And you know what? What's better than a chunk of cherry wood? That's right. 2 chunks of cherry wood. I'm gonna push that one over there somewheres. I'll let him get lit up later. For now, that guy will be just fine. Now, we'll see what this temperature does. We'll let it get up on the higher end, probably like 250, 275, whatever. And I'm gonna also stick me a probe in through here, I guess. That way I got a remote control one so I can see what this is doing, you know, while I'm in there playing video games. So anyway, for now, other than adjusting these vents based on the temperature, we're gonna let it go for a couple hours, come back and check on it, and yeah, see what's up. All right, so I don't know what the deal is, but like I said, I want to document everything. It's been about an hour now, and she still hasn't peaked 200. So I don't know. I just kind of, you know, I'm gonna let this is gonna be real smoky, so you can't see too much, but I don't know really how much charcoal you should put in this thing. I kind of just put like a good nice heaping amount in there, and I figured, you know, I lit up about half of it in the what you call it, in the chimney, and then left the other half unlit. And normally that's, I mean, that would heat up the Grand Champ, but on this one, I don't know if it just ain't getting enough air or what. So like I said, I'm not saying this is solid advice. The fire management guide will come, but I'm gonna say with this smoker, as far as I can tell, it looks like it's going to be a more the merrier type of deal, and then turn it down with the vents rather than, you know, try and get it just right. And because I've got all the vents wide open, I've been blowing on it, and it just ain't getting hot enough. So I'm gonna put some more charcoal in there, and you know, we'll check on the food eventually. Also, I do want to add, guys, you don't want to have to do this. I find now it doesn't hurt to have the smoke a little bit dirty, you know. But what I find is, and you can see it behind me, when you add charcoal that hasn't been warmed up or cooking at all right on top of hot charcoal, I mean, it just pours out dirty smoke, and that's not really what you want on your food. So learn. This is my first cook, so I mean, this is raw. It's going up no matter what. But you know, learn from my mistakes on this one. That was one of my mistakes, is that I didn't use anywhere near enough charcoal to get this thing going right. Now I've already pretty much wasted an hour of cooking time. So yeah, hopefully dinner's not late. All right, just a quick update. I did get it going. What I ended up having to do was take a couple of the things, pick this whole thing up, take it off, and essentially let that charcoal bed really get cooking before it would finally, you know, get hot enough to where it could just take off on its own, I guess. So just another food for thought with this thing, as far as I can tell so far. But like I said before, and you know, the last part, first cook, we're learning this together. So we've been cooking for about 2 hours now, sitting at 250 up top, and this probe over here is saying about 275. Good, great, that's what I like to see. Now next thing we want to check is temperature. See where this chicken's at. 162. How about you, little guy? 165. Thighs, you want to go up to about 170, 175. How about you, little fella? You're about done. 178, 180, you're done. And how about you? 165. All right, so that's looking good. Now we need to check the ribs. If you notice on the ribs, this fat is starting to render, so that's nice. 144, 154. They don't have the best color that I like to see, but they don't have the worst color either. I'm sure they'll taste just fine too. So I tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna finish this chicken off for about another maybe 20 minutes. Make sure it's up to temperature, and then we'll wrap these ribs. Once we take the chicken off, we'll take the chicken off and, you know, put it in the oven or something like that, or whatever, just something to keep it warm, and finish the ribs, and then we'll have some dinner. All right, chicken should be done. It looks maybe a little bit crispy for some people's liking, but I think it'd be okay. 170 on that one. 170 is really good enough. 166, 168, that'll be okay. You really don't have to go to 175. It's just recommended. That one's up 190, 180. Yeah, they are fine. All right. So this thing does keep very consistent temperatures. I do give it that. I mean, it really don't spike. You know, it gets a temperature and it holds it. So hopefully I don't have to edit too much of that. I know it was maybe a little bit choppy, but yeah. So we're gonna go throw those chicken in the crock pot to keep them warm. I'll let you get a gander at them here. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that juice. Well, time has dictated that I go ahead and wrap these ribs, which they look pretty good now. I'm gonna say, and I'm just guessing at this, the top rack is the best rack. See what temperature they're at. They're at 160, 165 on that guy there. So we'll start with you, sir, if you don't mind that. And let's see, I want these to be meat down. So now I like to do kind of like a sandwich roll. So get them in there tight. I guess we're not going to get much of a sandwich roll this time, but nice tight wrap. And try to make sure there's no holes so no juice leaks out. Meat side up. And then try this one a little bit differently. Like that. The smoker has been running for about 4 hours now, and I think it's just now starting to lose a little bit of its fire. So I'm gonna just throw one more good sized log on it. All right, y'all remember where we started at about 2 o'clock? It's almost 6 o'clock now, 5:45, and we definitely had our hiccups, but hey, all's well that ends well, I say. Let's unwrap these ribs and take a gander at them. Look at that. Now that, boy, Rosie come running in the damn, y'all remember her from the video. You hungry, baby? You want some barbecue? Daddy gonna fix it up here in just a minute. We gotta make some sides. Look at that. Boys, that's what it's supposed to look like. Look at the damn juice running off of it. That's perfecto right there. Don't need no sugar. Don't need no sauce. Bling bling, boy. Let's look at the other ones. Now I'm gonna leave these wrapped up and let them rest. You know, because we're not ready to eat yet. We got to get some sides going, right? I bet you these ones look just as good. That's what happens. Now the thickest part of that is cooked to about 195, maybe a little bit more, and the rest of them probably right about 200. You don't gotta bend them. You don't gotta mess with them. Sometimes science is, you know, a good thing. The reality is pork fat starts to render at 170 degrees. So that's why at about 170 degrees, look at the juice. I mean, it is, ooh, they're hot, but I mean, it's just, let me grab them real quick for you. I hope you can get a nice gander on that. Look at the, it's just glistening. Nothing else to it. That's a competition finish just about. Only difference with the competition rib is that they would cut it so that it's a perfect square, and probably about a million other things that don't really matter that much, but that's the kind of rib that'll knock your grandmama's socks off. So I say chicken looks good, ribs look good. We got a little bit of ways to learn with the Weber, but other than that, I'm really happy with it, and I can see myself, you know, enjoying it and cooking on it for a long time. I think it's going to be probably my main smoker. So yeah, we'll set these on here. Actually, we'll leave them on the plate, and thank you guys for watching. Please leave a like on the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're not subscribed. We'll be coming out with that that fire management guide pretty soon here. I think I got it about dialed in now, good enough to where I can give some kind of idea. I want to do a couple more cooks though, to be sure. And then yeah, like and subscribe, all the good stuff. Leave a comment, let me know what you want to see, and I'll see y'all in the next one.